Hello everybody, back for Roxy's Journal of Stitchery, and I've finished my bees and my beehive. Oh, so cute. And I had sort of got carried away and I had no idea, of course, what the next prompt would be, but I'd sort of already got carried away and started doing things, and so it's kind of good that it's choose your own, really. That works perfectly. So I found this beautiful Irish linen, and I've started to stitch on it, and guaranteed pure Irish linen. Oh, just gorgeous. So I thought summer strawberries. Just going to pull that one out and rethread it. So what's everyone up to? I've been coming to terms with being back. And still doing Ariane's, oh, missed it. Still doing Ariane's little look in the mirror and say I love you. Don't know if any of you are doing it. Thanks to Anita for saying she gives herself a hug if there's something good that she's done. That's wonderful. Love that. There. So I was reflecting on how in life, when you've lived longer, there's a lot more memory. So as I was driving up to Bright, I was getting a lot of 90s music, which was quite interesting because it's memories. But on the way down, I was getting a lot of 70s music, and it really surprised me that I remembered a lot of the music and the lyrics still, all this time later, from the 70s. Isn't that amazing? So I was having, when you drive in some of Outback Australia, there's no reception in some parts. But when I had reception and getting all that 70s music and singing along and knowing all the words, it was pretty amazing. But I'm remembering that as a young girl, we lived out in, it was called Croydon, but it was sort of right on the outskirts of Mooroolbark. And it was considered sort of a bit more, it wasn't the city, that's for sure. Mum and Dad, when we came to Australia, we came to Coburg, and that's where Dad had got a £10 POM transfer job. So £10 was the flight. You had to pay back the entire flight if you went home early, but it only cost you £10 to get here. I don't know if it was £10 altogether or £10 per family. I was three, and my brother was 1.5 when they came out here. But they built a house in Croydon on the outskirts of Mooroolbark. And I'm just thinking about that time because, of course, we have summer off over Christmas in Australia. We have a hot Christmas. But I'm just thinking about that time where you go back to school at the end of January and you've still got February before autumn in March, and even March can sometimes be hot. Anyway, I had a little dog called Jenny, and Jenny used to naughtily follow us to school every day, and we'd always yell out, "Go home, Jenny, go home, Jenny." But we used to walk, and this is why this memory's coming up, I think, is because we used to walk along under the gum trees, and sky would be a beautiful blue. So I'm thinking that that's possibly the memory on some subconscious level of why I love that green leaves on a blue sky background. Let's get it away. Anyway, Jenny was a bit naughty, but she did end up getting hit by a car, unfortunately. I don't think we had a fence. I think that was the problem, and if she got out when we were leaving for school, that was it. She was out. She probably didn't understand why we were yelling, "Go home, Jenny." She just wanted to play. But the February month of this beautiful, hot, sunny mornings walking to school was just gorgeous. And what we used to do after school, if we were lucky, of course there wasn't always a lot of money, but I think Mum would sometimes give us 20 cents. And on the way home, we could pop into the local fruit and veggie grocer guy and buy, the milk bar had 5 cents for a bag of lollies. Imagine that, a whole bag, one of those little white bags. And you'd get, what would you get in it? You'd get a lolly called a milk bottle. You'd get which tasted like milk. It was a milk lolly. You can still get them now, and sometimes I buy them and I have a sentimental moment. You could get, you'd get in this bag a mixture. So you'd get Jaffas. So if anyone's not from Australia, you might not know what a Jaffa is, but a Jaffa was a chocolate centre with a hard outer shell that tasted of orange. So it was a Jaffa. It was called a Jaffa. I don't know where the name came from. But some days we'd get a slice of watermelon each, my brother and I, and eat it on the way home. And it was so delicious and so nice. And I think Mum and Dad grew strawberries. They grew a few things in the backyard. Not a lot, because Dad was really busy, and Mum, I don't know what she was doing. Just setting up a new house, I guess, from getting kids off to school, making lunches, making dinner, doing all those things that I don't think she particularly liked, but she did them like a good mum. So I just remember that something beautiful was the really lush and yummy strawberries. So when I saw this little bit of linen, I thought, oh yeah, that's really reminding me of summer and lazy days in summer even. And I noticed someone in the Facebook group had done, and this is a memory for me, so I thank you, whoever that was. That was such a wonderful little memory. They had embroidered a cricket bat with a set of stumps. And my dad used to play cricket in England. He just loved it. So a really strong lazy memory for me, lazy summer memory, was that my dad would love, once we had a television, of course we didn't have a television at the start. This is a bit later than when I was little. Once my dad got a television, we always had this wonderful sort of Sunday afternoon where he would be watching the cricket and falling asleep on the couch. It's a really strong memory for me, him falling asleep on the couch to the cricket, and to this day I still actually enjoy doing that. It's like a little homage to my dad. Put the cricket on a stinking hot day, and if you doze off, but the sound is really soothing of the, the men cheering and over and all of that sort of stuff. So that's a lovely, lovely memory of my dad from those summer hot days. So here's my leaves. One of the things I was thinking with this, where's my other strawberry? Down here. When I did my strawberry, I couldn't work out, do I do the green inside the red? And I ended up doing the entire strawberry outline and then doing the leaves outline. So I'm sort of doing that in this one too. Just getting the green just inside the leaf with the red just outside the leaf. So of course in Australia, I might have mentioned it before, but because we have a hot Christmas, sometimes if it's raining, we'll still do a traditional roast at my sister's. So I've now moved up to current time, but my sister has a really good kitchen and they've got a bigger place, so they're happy to have Christmas at their place, but they still like to do a roast pork, bit of ham, bit of roast chicken or turkey. They enjoy it. They like seeing people and having people over. Just realised I was getting out of the light there a bit. And from a young age, we would have pavlova for dessert. And pavlova is meringue. So if you haven't seen that as part of an Australian iconic dessert, pavlova is a meringue in a circle. And then you put on cream, so you bake it. So it has a hard shell or, wonderfully crunchy, crusty shell, and the inside is a bit soft, so you've got to bake it the right way. And then you put cream on it, which is delicious. And then once you've put the cream on, you always put fresh fruit of some sort. So I think my lazy days of summer, aside from Dad and cricket, my main memory is the summer fruits. So on a pavlova, throughout the years, we used to have it was always strawberries. But with time and the advent of more travel and more availability for us to get fruit from Queensland, once trucks were coming from Queensland. There it is. We were able to get more exotic fruits. So we went from strawberries being the main thing. I think the next thing then was passion fruit. So it went from sort of strawberries to passion fruit, to now every year my sister does a pavlova. She loves it. She loves to make the pavlova, and she puts on, most often it's still strawberries, but sometimes it's mixed fruits, so blueberries, strawberries, raspberries and all that sort of stuff. But we also ended up having mangoes some years as well. So that's a memory for me, a Christmas memory, which is our summer in Australia. So I've been seed stitching here, and maybe I'll do that in the next episode because we've got 2 weeks. So, all right, I'll just do a bit more seed stitching and reminiscing about summer. So I felt like I was a very awkward teenager, and I very, very body conscious and didn't really like being on display with, you know, in my bathers or anything. But one year I'd made some friends. We went to church. My mum and dad were Baptists. I stopped going when I was 16 because I said no one can make me do what I don't want to do, and I was a rebellious teenager. But aside from that, I went to the swimming pool with some friends, and it was stinking hot. But I was in my bathers. I'd made some bathers, but I was so body conscious. They kept saying, get in the pool, get in the pool. And I wouldn't. I just wanted to sit on the towel and be embarrassed. So I kind of have these lazy daisies, lazy days of summer. I feel like there's this, I guess, a variety of different experiences, happy memories, you know, things like Christmases and the fruit and my dad and the cricket, to maybe not so good memories being an awkward, you know, grumpy teenager. Awkward, embarrassed teenager. Oh, funny, isn't it? Things we remember when we're reminiscing about particular things. And another discussion about age and how we've got many, many memories. Once we get older, we've got a lot of memories. And I am going to keep on reiterating, because maybe it's part of the self-love, self-care, the Ariane challenge, is that it's okay to have those awkward teenage angsty moments and admit it, and just know that we've learnt so much more about life. And I think what I was going to say there, I kind of went off the path there, was that as an older person, and part of the self-love is that we can give ourselves a hug for being wise elders. It's not always respected or looked at in a lot of the parts of the world, but you know what? We have lived, and you can't ever say what anyone else has been through in their life to get where they are. So that's another take today, another bit of a wisdom, words of wisdom from an elder. And I'm sure many of the people that watch my videos are a little bit older too, so you'll know what I'm saying. And that's why we love our community. So my idea here is I've started with a variegated pale yellow through to lighter oranges, and now I've shifted to this variegated one, which has a little bit more pinks, but a little more of this hot sunset kind of, or sunrise kind of look. And I'm going to fill up this area. And I've only got one more thing, the strawberries. I don't think I'm going to put any more around this background. I did do a little bit of research of what the strawberry flower looked like, and it's a little white flower. So I've put in, so you can see, just little French knots, little yellow French knots. So it's a white flower with little yellow bits and little yellow centre. And this is really the method I used for the strawberries. Just backstitch around the outside. And what I did for these little, they look like little V's, I just did a fly stitch and just secured it, and then did the next one. Just like that. So I'll come back next week with a bit more. I'm just thinking if I did any more that you haven't seen. I finished the bugs. It was really lovely to show this at the Green Door and have Juju and Kate having a look at it and enjoying it. I did put these little just wildflower things there. Put a little bit of something I'd crocheted. Don't think I added anything else. I think no, nothing else. That's it. So that's my start of this prompt, of the do what you like prompt, and a little bit of walking down memory lane. Hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for coming along, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.